basketball camp, and it was Chick Hearn, and he was coaching a bunch of over-the-hill guys. But the one thing that I know that he did, and he said, I said, why are you doing this? And he says, because there's so many people in the world that came from different backgrounds from me, and I want to learn. And he learned, and he learned, and he learned. Today, he's a global phenomenon. He's a champion. He believes in teams. He believes in helping others. He doesn't think of a point guard only doing their thing and a power forward doing their thing. He thinks of the team doing a common goal. And I think that's a message for us. You don't have silos. You have collaboration. You have people working for a common goal. And I'm so happy and proud to have Irvin here. And he's gonna share a lot of his experiences with you. And come on board.
I might as well have you travel all around the country with me and introduce me like that. Please give him a hand, my friend here. The good doctor has been doing some amazing things around the world. And I'm just happy to be here and be a part of this outstanding conference you have here today. So when I think about my journey, and he was talking about it, it actually started on the basketball court. So for me, everything was about just winning, right? And playing the game the right way. And so when I think about playing the game the right way, when I was a little boy, I was also the tallest young man on the team. And you know, when you play at 8, 9, 7 years old, probably the most points you score is 25, 30 points. And so we would score 25 points, and unfortunately I would have 23 of the points. And so it kept going like that. Even though we were winning, I was happy because we were winning. It became a time when, about the 7th game, I saw 4 or 5 of my teammates with their parents, and their parents were upset, and they were upset. And they were upset because they didn't score in the game. And the parents was upset at that guy named Irvin Johnson was scoring all the points, even though we were 7-0. So I went to my parents and said, everybody's mad at me. What can I do? You know, so we had to figure something out. So the next game, I decided, after I got the offensive rebound, instead of putting it back in, I passed it out. And I was trying to help my teammates score because I wanted them to be happy with me. You know, you want to be accepted. You want kids to like you. As a kid, you want everybody to like you. So I just kept passing it out. Now, the game got a little closer because, you know, they were missing a lot, but they didn't But the end result was they scored. And the joy that came over their face was good for me. And then the parents enjoyed seeing their son score. So that changed my life on the basketball court. So I became a guy who looked forward to passing more than scoring, as long as it resulted in winning. Now, don't never forget about that side of me. And so I became a young man who just was into passing, and I studied people like Bob Cousy and Oscar Robertson, young men who were in the NBA that had the same game. And so I just became this guy who looked forward to every game, making my teammates better. We have a couple hundred great leaders in this room. It's great that you can make those who work with you better, but also you're blessing the world with what you're coming up with. You're saving lives, you're blessing people. So I want to say thank you for that, because it takes an unselfish man or woman to do those things. And so I never thought my game would be appreciated like it was, because when I got to college, everything was about who was the leading scorer, who scored the most points. And another young man who had blonde hair, him and I changed basketball forever. I still hate him, don't say his name. Do you realize this is so amazing? That game, 1979, is what, 45 years ago? You know that game is still the #1 watched basketball game in history. Think about that. 35 million people watched Michigan State versus Indiana State. Two guys who, both from the Midwest, but two guys who thought about making their teammates better, unselfish, and would do anything to win. And you know what? I laugh about it, but he made me better. And I think I did the same for him. Sometimes when you're on that level, your competitor can push you to new heights. It's just like all of you in this room. You work well together, but you push each other to new heights, you know, to do more. And Larry Bird pushed me to do more, to be better. And so during my run, I won every championship from 3rd grade to 9th grade. I went to a school that wasn't known for basketball, high school. This changed my life too. Busing came into Lansing, Michigan. You never know how blessed you are until you start looking back on your journey. And so I got bused to an all-white school, and neither side was ready. Neither side was ready. A lot of racial tension, a lot of fighting for the first 3 weeks. And on the 4th week, that Monday, the principal jumped on the bus as we came up. And Dr. Troop said, "Irvin Johnson, come with me." And you know, all the kids said, "Ooh, what did you do?" And I thought I did something too, right? So I go follow him to his office. Our quarterback, who happened to be white on our football team, he was already sitting there. And he told him, "You're gonna stop all the white kids from fighting." And he told me, "You're gonna stop all the black kids from fighting." And I said, "Wait a minute, I just got here. This is only my 4th week. Why don't you get us a junior or senior to stop all the kids from fighting?" He said, "They won't listen to them, but they'll listen to you." Now, think about this. I've been a leader my whole life on the basketball court. And now I'm about to become a leader of people. And I went into that auditorium and I talked to those students, and sure enough, we stopped fighting. And that's what changed my life and put me in a position that I want to always help people and not just play basketball and win games, but how do I affect change in the communities? And my mother always stressed that. She said, "Look, I want you to be a great basketball player, but I want you to give back." And she's always had this incredible heart. So now my focus is always the black and brown community. How can I bring services to our community, both from health-wise to financial to education. Right now, my wife and I were so blessed to send 10,000 minority students to college. So what a real blessing for us to be able to do that. Because when I looked at the research, what was the biggest challenge in our community besides our health? That's probably number 1. Number 2 is education. We gotta get our kids to get into STEM now AI is coming, so they have to learn about AI because there's going to be so many jobs created because of that. And so I said, hey, they have the grades to go to college, they just don't have the financial means to go. And then one day, I got off the plane, I just arrived in Washington, D.C. And they had a picture of an 11-year-old black boy on front of the Washington Post. He had a toothache and his mother couldn't afford to take him to the dentist. So the infection went from his tooth to his brain and killed him. And I said, I have got to do something so that I don't have to read a story like this anymore. So I went back and I team up now with a lot of different hospitals so that they could go in the poorest neighborhoods and bring these big buses that kids can just walk on the bus, get a physical. Also we team up with dentists so they can get their dental work as well. So these are the type of things I do today where I go into the poorest communities and making sure that not only these kids get a physical, get ready for school, but also we give them backpacks and different things like that so that they could hopefully have a good year in school. And then the last but not least, we want to make sure that we feed them too. Because a lot of poor families, those kids can't have a meal, right? Families too poor to feed them, give them breakfast. And as most doctors tell us, that's the most important meal, especially for young people going to school. So we want to make sure that we do those type of things for them. So yes, I've been about basketball, but now my life is more about how do I change the black and brown community in a positive way? How can I go in and make a difference? So with that, we built 18 technology centers because a lot of the young people can't have a computer in their home, parents can't afford, so we built these incredible next time, he had it on a timer, so we had to so we did the technology centers. I partnered with HP and a couple other companies, and it's been a wonderful situation because now we've changed 90% of those kids' grades have gone up because they have access to a computer. And what a difference it makes in these young people's lives. And so again, that's what I'm all about. We give turkey drive, we give toys away from Christmas, and the one thing I really love, my father and mother couldn't afford to give me a bike for Christmas. That's the only thing that always got me. When I saw all my friends riding on their bikes, but my father said, you have 6 sisters and 3 brothers. So if I buy one bike, I gotta buy 10 bikes. And he said, I can't afford to buy 10 bikes. So my biggest thing in life now is to give away 400 bikes to those kids because I want a kid to be like I was and miss out on the opportunity to know what it's like to own your own bike. So it's been a blessing for me every year to do that through the Magic Johnson Foundation. So that's what I've been doing away from basketball. I love working every single day. I get up at 4 o'clock every morning, like this morning, got up at 4 o'clock. I'm never late for anything, so I got down here almost 2 hours ahead of time. And there's a beautiful park across the street from here, so I went and sat in the park. And as I'm waiting to come and see you, and so it drives my people crazy that I'm an on-time man, and I make them get to every meeting at least an hour before. They hate traveling with me, going to meetings, because we'll sit in somebody's lobby for an hour. But that's just how I'm built. I can't change. What's your name, sir?
Daniel.
So Daniel, I'm so competitive. Drive my wife's just absolutely crazy, right? And my daughter played point guard in high school. And my wife says, play her one-on-one, it'll make her better. And Daniel, I didn't want to play her one-on-one. I know who I am. So when your wife tells you to do something twice, you better get to it. So she told me that second time, and I got to it. So it was hard for me. We went to 10. I let her get to 9. That was hard for me to do. But I let her get to 9. And then I crushed her. And then my wife got so mad at me. Why you didn't let her win? I can't let nobody win. It's not who I am. You know, and so every board game that we play right now, you know, the family get together. I gotta win. I don't know anything else, you know. So what I want to do is make this interactive. And I want you to ask me questions. Let's have some fun. And you can ask me anything. And it'll be fun for you, fun for me, okay? So just raise your hand. Yes, sir.
So Shaquille O'Neal said that there's no I in team, but there's me and me. What do you think about that?
Well, Shaquille can say anything. A man that big can say anything. I would say this, you know, I've been blessed to play on an unbelievable team with the Lakers and guys who wanted to win. I know you had a lot of great Lakers here last night and other players. So when you think about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, his dominance not only in the NBA, think about this. Kareem never lost a state championship in high school. He won all the national championships in college. Just think about that. He won 3 straight national championships in college. And then he comes and wins, 6 NBA championships in the pros. And so James Worthy won an NCAA championship with North Carolina. And Jamal Wilkes won with UCLA. So I played with a lot of guys who understood team concept, because we can't do nothing without a team. If you don't play as a team, I don't care if it's sports, if it's business, you got to work as a team. And everybody must play their role and not worry about who's scoring the points or who's getting the credit. That's what I love about the Lakers. Nobody cared about who got the credit, whose name was in the paper. We just cared about winning and playing together. And because of that, we had great success. And we went to the finals 9 times in 12 years. What a run. That's an unbelievable run. And so I'm just happy I played with unselfish men. And because of that, we're really great friends today, too. We empowered each other. It was beautiful. Beautiful to watch, you know, and beautiful to play on a team like that. Okay. Yes, sir.
So, other than Larry Bird, what other players did you play against with real challenge and why?
Oh, Michael Jordan. And why? Because he could jump so high. And why? Because he was so skilled and talented. People forget this about both of them. I'm going to get on the stage for this one. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan were 2 of the most fundamentally sound basketball players we've ever seen. That's why they had great success. Everybody looks at everything else, but it starts with the fundamentals. And then second, high basketball IQ. I'm looking at how many 200 of the smartest people on the planet right in this room. Larry Bird and Michael Jordan had that type of IQ, but in basketball. And so that's what made them so special. And their will to win was so high. But Michael, you just couldn't do anything with him because he can go left, he can go right, he can shoot the 3, he can shoot the mid-range, he can take it to the basket and dunk on you. And just like my Lakers, 1991, right? Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals against my Lakers, he takes off. The tongue is out. So all 5 of us, we chunk, thought we had, right? And we forgot one thing, he can hang in air longer than us. So as we went down, he watched us. he decided to switch, remember that? He switched the ball from the right hand to the left hand. The tongue went left. And he spun it against the glass and good. How can a man hang in the air that long to watch, switch, tongue to, and spin it on the glass and good? And Cooper and I looked at each other like, did he actually just do that? It was the most amazing shot we've ever seen in our lives. And then Larry Bird, I mean, what can I say? Man, both of them love to talk to you too while they're playing. I didn't get that. Why did they make us feel so bad when they about to score on us? So Larry Bird used to shoot a three-pointer from the corners all the time. So Dennis Johnson is their point guard. I stopped Dennis Johnson. He passed it to Larry. Now it's my turn to get out here and try to stop Larry Bird. But he's talking to me as I'm running at him. I don't know why you're running out here. But who does that in the middle of the game? I'm going to shoot it right in your face as soon as you get a step away from me. Sure enough, I got right here. He shoots it. It goes all net. And he turns and looks back and said, see, you did all that running for nothing. This dude. But it showed the power of his greatness when we walked into the All-Star game locker room and the other 9 shooters were sitting on the in their seat. Larry went to the middle of the locker room and said, which one of you guys coming in second? Who does that? And guess what happened? He came in first. And so those 2 guys, I would say, it's just so unstoppable. But you think about another man named Dr. J. Julius Erving was just so incredible. I think about George Gervin was so unstoppable. I mean, we had some great players who were just unbelievable in their own right. But I talk about those guys as the 2 I said is because that those were my measuring sticks. I always measured myself against Michael and Larry. And so Pat Riley reminded me every day how good and how great they were to motivate me. I used to hate Pat Riley doing that, right? My coach. So we'd be sitting there in the locker room and the Boston Celtics game would go final, and he said, look how many points Larry Bird scored tonight. He scored 50 points and had 15 rebounds and 9 assists. So I'm sitting right behind him. He knew that. So now I'm getting mad, right? And then he would do the same thing when Michael Jordan's score would go final, and Jordan would score like 55 points or something, and he would rub it in to make me get motivated to go out there and play. And even though I didn't need no extra motivation, but he always did that to me. So those 2 are special. And then last but not least, we got to play with each other in the Dream Team. What a special moment that was. The best basketball team that's ever been put together. All right. Yes.
I love your story about high school basketball playing and how you were so talented and the parents complained and you became somebody who drove the team. This, I think, is a great parable to many things in life. And I want to know, myself and I suspect for the room, what are some of your best tools to bring your team up?
Well, I think first getting to know them personally. And what makes them tick, what makes them go. And once you understand what everybody, first, what makes them go and what drives them, then you can motivate them, you can deliver your message to them. I'm always curious about everybody who works for me. I always get to know them. What's important to them? Besides their family, what else is important? Is it their work? Is it growing in this industry? Is it, becoming the best at what they do? On and on and on. I just want to know. And then I know what buttons to push with them. So it's very important. So I get to know everybody. And just like on the Laker team, when I first got there, day one, I called Kareem over, where do you like the ball? And he was like, nobody's ever asked me that. I said, tell me where you like it. You like it high, you like it in the middle of your chest, or you like it low? He said, not low, I want it high. I said, when I throw it to you, it'll always be high. What did that do that made him say, oh, this rookie's gonna be okay? And then I'm not trying to take over his team. So once Kareem bought into Magic, then everybody else bought into myself, that I was just here to win. And so I think you gotta know people, and once you know them, you know how to get them to do what you want them to do. And a lot of them will go through the wall for you, right? And so it's very important. Every team I've ever played on, I just got to know every single person. And then I knew how to work with them. And then also too, great leaders can be led. So don't forget that too. Because some of the people may bring great things to you, or great ideals or suggestions. Be open-minded to that, you know. And so I'm always open-minded to my people bringing me different things. Because I've always found that 2 or 3 of them are gonna be right, and it's gonna be good for me and good for my company. And so, thank you for that, that's very good. But I always try to get to know everybody. Very important. Yes, sir. And then 32 over there. Yes, sir. Sir, we're gonna go with you first. Can you go into the mic too? Because that would be good, everybody hear your question.
That story about the 11-year-old kid hit me, where a tooth infection went to the brain. Why is the mouth separate from the body? Why not have one insurance to cover the whole body?
Right.
Let's fight for that. Why has dental insurance to be separate?
That's beautiful. Yeah, let's fight for it. I'm with you.
It's part of the body.
Yeah.
Let's fight for it.
Well, I'll lean on you guys as the experts.
Ron, you're the one. No, but you're the one who can fight for it.
No, I think that's how we work together, right?
Yes.
You give me vital information, and like you said, I can fight for it. So
Yes.
we have to work together.
We absolutely need one insurance for the whole body. Why is the mouth separate from the rest of the body? The mouth is the one that speaks.
Right.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, I look forward to you. We're gonna bring you. I'm coming back. No, because what I try to do is get information that's vital to the community. I remember when COVID went down, and they called me because a lot of the black and brown community was not getting shots. So I said, what can I do? So the first thing I did was I wanted to have mine, when I took my COVID shot, live on TV. And that changed a lot of people, even my parents. They were reluctant until I took my shot, and then they went right after me. So sometimes I gotta think of things to do to make sure that I can deliver the most important messages with the right information to those who live in the inner cities of America. So thank you for that. I look forward to us dialoguing about that. Yes, into the mic.
Can you sign the ball for me?
Can I sign the ball for you? Yeah, I can sign the ball for you. You were smart enough to bring it, I will sign it.
Since I was 10 years old in 1980, made me want to play basketball.
Oh, thank you.
Unselfish basketball. But what I've watched over your career, not only as a player, but also as an executive, coaching is vital to winning championships. I watched you go from a 1980s championship to a team that failed to win the championship the following year. Can you talk to us about the importance of great coaching for the team? Top to bottom, you had a great owner of the team, but it's important to have that great coach as well. Can you talk about that?
Well, I think that from the top,
And keep your Sharpie close. 'Cause
I got it right here. I'm a borrow his for you right here. First of all, he was smart, because a lot of times they bring the ball and forget the Sharpie, right? Like I said. But he had both. Winning and doing things right and excellence and best in class always starts at the top. Dr. Jerry Buss was an owner who believed in winning, but he did things the right way. So then it trickled down to Jerry West, our general manager, who was a dominant Hall of Fame superstar player himself. And then it went to Pat Riley. And let me tell you this. He was the best preparation coach I've ever had. He always had us prepared. We knew what you were going to do, both from an offensive side and a defensive side. Pat Riley was the hardest working coach at that time in America. I mean, he put the time in, and he prepared us so that we had to also put the time in. And he wanted mentally and physically tough guys. Because it's one thing to be physically tough, but you might not be mentally tough. But he wanted both. So when we came to play, first of all, we were in better shape than everybody because he ran us to death. Then he believed in team basketball, so everything you had to do was about the team. When you had a problem with an individual on the team, he would have a meeting and then he'd put everybody in a circle, and the guy that had a problem had to stand in the middle of the circle and say what was wrong. Then all the guys got to address that situation. He said, once this circle is broken, or when we leave, the problem is over. I don't want nobody talking about the issue after this. He was so smart in doing so many great things like that. So it was just amazing for us to be prepared and ready. And Pat Riley, we took on his personality. He was a tough guy, and we became a tough team. So yes, and then he passed that on to the two leaders of the team. That was Kareem. Kareem led by his play. I led by my mouth. And so I'm going to tell you when you're not doing your job. And then also they had a situation where they could tell me if I'm not doing my job. And Michael Cooper, who just went into the Hall of Fame, this is going to be great in August. My running mate is going into the Hall of Fame. Think about that. A guy who never started in the NBA is going into the Hall of Fame. Isn't that something? That tells you now we're looking at guys who make a great contribution to your team and to the game, and he doesn't have to be a starter. So I'm so proud and happy for Michael. He was the glue to our team. Him and Kurt Rambis were the two glue guys of our team. People forget Kurt Rambis was just a tough, set great picks. But, you know, I couldn't throw it to Kurt. When he got a head of steam going, you couldn't throw him the basketball because he would travel every time because he couldn't stop, you know. But we love Kurt, and so come on, let me sign that jersey for you. Can I borrow your shirt? Is there some on this side? All right, you got it.
So, just, you know, we've been following your career for such a long time, and in many ways, Magic, is he on? Try to go? Okay, sorry. So, the one question that I always wanted to ask you ever since I've been watching you is, it seems that you always did things the right way, but also you also understood the importance of some of the milestones that you went through and you understood the role that you played. So as a Angelino, my question is, when are we going to see your name on the ballot? Because that to me has to be.
Oh, wait a minute. Say, what'd you say again? When and what?
So, I mean, I swore to myself, if I ever meet you, this is the one question I have for you. As a huge Laker fan, all of that being said, the truth is you've done it all the right way. And even with, you took your diagnosis and everything else, you presented it because you knew who you were and how it's going to affect the youth.
Right.
So, as an Angelino, I want to know when we're going to see your name on the ballot, because that has to be
Come, bring your phone, man. Because, come on, let's get a picture. Oh, wow, they're all in Lakers stuff, too. Come on, let's get a picture. Thank you, too. I like working with the mayors and the governors and the presidents. I don't want to be one of them, because what happens is I built my company to create jobs for people, and I'm so dedicated to the city of Los Angeles and doing great work, but I'm still one guy with all this stuff going on in his life, and I'm still married, and I'm now a grandfather and all of that. So I wouldn't have time to be a politician, but I like working with them and helping them with their initiatives and plan they have. I think I like to stay doing that. And because once you get in that lane, the other things you can't do, right? And I love to be able to go to the Dodger game. I love going to the Laker games. I love doing all those things, and I still love traveling. My wife and I love to travel. So I want to stick to that, man, because once you become a politician, all those things you can't do no more. And I'm like, oh.
But you do things differently. That's the point.
Now, I understand what people want, and I can deliver those things and all that, but again, I got one life, so I better enjoy it. Man, I work all day as it is today, now, I'm already thinking about what I got to do tomorrow, right? And, no, I like working with them, and I'll do that till I'm dead, okay? Yes. And sir, we're gonna come right to you next.
So if Magic Johnson would have never been a basketball player, he would have been?
I probably would have followed. All my brothers work for General Motors. I probably do that, or the Boys and Girls Club. I worked, first of all, I grew up at the Boys and Girls Club. The Boys and Girls Club allowed me to have a safe haven and also a place to play basketball. My parents were happy that I was able to go there and know that nothing would happen. It gave me my first real job, the rodeo. I worked and I carried and sold Coca-Cola, and I was also competitive with that too as well. Every year I would be the kid who sold the most Cokes, and I took great pride in that. And they took me to my first professional game, the Detroit Tiger baseball game. They took me to the Detroit Lions football game and the Detroit Pistons basketball game. So then I started working there. And then once I got to Michigan State, I became a big brother. So I love working with the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. And I had two young men that I was big brothers to. So I probably would have worked either Boys Club or Big Brother, Big Sister. And like I said, or follow my father and my brothers in the General Motors. They had great careers for 30 years. I'm built like my father. He was never late and never missed a day in 30 years. So I'm built just like him. He built me like him. And so I probably would have followed one of those career paths. My major was telecommunications, radio and TV. So, yes, sir.
Magic, I applaud you for what you're doing for the community. I think it's better to give than to receive, and I hope we can all learn from that.
Yep.
There are a lot of black leaders in their communities that actually do wonders for their own community. They take one step forward every time. But sometimes I look at the news and I see the community taking 2 steps backwards. What are your thoughts on that, and how do we solve that problem?
It's unfortunate when the community takes a couple of steps backwards. That's why everything that I do, just like LAFC, I'm one of the owners of the soccer team. So we built that stadium right in the heart of Los Angeles. And we created so many job opportunities for the people who live around that stadium. And then also too, on our executive team, we hire people from that community. And then there's suppliers who get contracts from that community, both men and women owned companies. So that's how you change a community. You gotta create jobs, you gotta create opportunities. Unfortunately, there's going to be problems that in every community, but especially my community, we have problems that sometimes people do things that they shouldn't do, and now it affects the whole community. And so I know when I first started as a businessman, I built my Starbucks there, I built my movie theaters there, so people could have a place to go get a great cup of coffee, but also have a chance to take their families to a first-run movie. And I'm only one person, and I can only, stand up here and talk about myself, what I do and how I do it. And but I will continue to always represent the Black and brown community and try to do things that other people are not doing, or try to join forces with them and make it better for everybody.
Can I take a picture with an honorable man?
Yes. Yes. Let the lady go first, and then we come right to you. You can speak right into the mic. Come on, sir. Yeah.
Okay, it's working. First of all, thank you for the help that you do for the community.
Oh, thank you.
I did my my residency in the area where we serve a lot of brown and black, people of color, and you're helping these kids, for example, giving them gifts. And this is one of my things that when I was in my residency, I was thinking to help them. It'll be better to start from the family. Before they even get out of the community.
Right.
So, do you have any project to help this these are young mothers who are raising these kids who are going to be out in the community later on?
Yeah, we always try to start with the parents because, when you think about the parents and their kids, it's just a situation that if the parents are about education, that makes sure the kids are about education. Right? And so we try to work with the parents and in any way that we can, right? Try to understand what do they need. So they have to tell us what they need, and so what do they need? They need help with what? And then we try to provide that help for them. And then also too, a lot of parents need training. So see, before we even hire somebody, we train them. I learned that from Howard Schultz at Starbucks taught me that. Starbucks always train those young people to do their job at Starbucks. So that's what I incorporated in my company. So we always train the parents or whoever to do their job. So yes, it definitely has to start with the parents. And they have to be more involved with their kids, right? But sometimes that parent is so young now that they don't have the knowledge. And then the other situation, unfortunately, is this. That mom is working probably 2 jobs. So how do we work with that young person when she's trying to bring enough money home to feed everybody, keep a roof over everybody's head? And so we try to understand the situation. And a lot of times we do, and we step in where we have to step in and help. And then you got a lot of great organizations who are doing a lot of great work in the Black and brown communities as well. So it's just not me, a lot of great organizations. So that was a good question too. But we work with parents all the time. We want to make sure. The other day, I went to DC and we had a fundraiser. we were doing something for the Washington Commanders. And we were at a Boys and Girls Club. So this packed gym come and listen to me speak. But what I did was I pulled 5 kids out. Right? And I said, I have this money. We had a drawing and they all won. I said, I'm gonna give you some money, but I'm gonna actually put it in a bank for you. We're gonna go down, we're gonna put this money in the bank. You're not gonna get it till you're 18. But it's gonna grow for you. So that way, by the time you're ready to go to college, you got some money sitting. And they start crying, parents start crying. See, that's teaching them first, you know. We're not gonna get it in hand, because if I get it to you in your hand, you're gonna spend it. So it's a way of doing things too. That's how you change people's lives as well. Come on, get a picture with me. Next, I said youth. And then we're gonna come that side. Go ahead, sir.
So, I can relate to the experience that you had. As a young person, getting bussed into a white neighborhood, because even though I'm white, I was getting bussed into a white neighborhood in Brooklyn, because everyone just assumed that people who lived where I lived was either going to be black and Puerto Rican, which they all were, except for me and my brother.
Right.
And that busing experience probably changed my life, because I got to see things a different way.
Right.
And, you know, that's not a unique experience. Other people who've gone through that busing kind of program, I think also grew tremendously from it, in spite of the first few weeks where the baseball bats were out.
Right.
In the community of LA, education is still such a significant issue in the inner city, as you well know, and busing is no longer a favorable thing. It's fallen out of, you know, respect because of all the other social problems that it creates.
Right.
What is being done and what can be done in the inner city communities to change the dynamic of the existing public education system, so busing doesn't have to happen to get quality education, quality tools, and adequate equipment? Well,
Listen, first we gotta do better. I think the teachers gotta get paid more. That's number one. Number two, we gotta get new books, new computers. When you go to an inner city school, they don't have enough books, right? They're tore up or pages are missing, on and on and on. And then when you think about the software, it's old, outdated, so I went into Crenshaw, the Lakers and I came together. We went in and built a whole new computer lab at Crenshaw High. And it changed everything. The kids were so excited. We put down the Laker floor. We made that the floor. Man, you couldn't keep the kids out of there, right? And it was this all brand new computers, and it was just wonderful. But also we made it a lab where we wanted them to come in and invent things too. And you got some creative people that live in these neighborhoods, but they just don't have the opportunity of somebody believing in them. And once we did that, it changed. These young people started changing, they started inventing things. We had a teacher who had been at one of the universities for many years, an engineer. He came in, donated his time. You know that 10 students now got their own little companies now. And because of what we were able to do, and that's the real blessing. That's how you create the change, because you got to change this. See, if you can change the mindset and attitude, then we're going somewhere. So the books got to be better, the software got to be better. But the first thing we got to do is look at those teachers and say, this is what you deserve. working with our kids. You deserve more. We got to say thank you more to them for working as hard as they do. So we have to start there. Thank you for that. Come on. All right, I said, young lady, and you got it. Go ahead.
So earlier you mentioned that great leaders can often be led.
I got you. Leaders can be led. I got it. Remember, I'm 64, but I work out every single day, and my hearing is still good.
So since great leaders can be led, I believe that also great leaders implement perspectives from other leaders. So since 2020, how has Mamba mentality changed for you, and you implement that with the kids in the newer generation?
How has
Mamba mentality?
Mama, is Kobe Bryant's Mama mentality? Well, for me, I guess Kobe and I already had that same mentality. First of all, can we clap for Kobe? And I just followed his lead when it came to women's sports. Kobe Bryant did more for women's sports than probably anybody. He was already doing things way before now. And he trained so many little girls who wanted to be basketball players. He trained so many high school players. He trained so many WNBA players and college players. And called them, gave them advice. And so for me, I first want to say I love the man. And it was great working with him. And there will never be somebody like Kobe ever again. My thing is to keep his legacy going and keep what he started in terms of the women, growing the women's game. And you saw me, I was talking about it a lot, especially when Caitlin Clark and what happened in college and on and on and on. And so, and then how I can help in any other way. Now a lot of the players, both male and female, call me. A lot of entertainers, athletes, they call me because they want to start their own company. So they all call me. Shaq, I started Shaq. Kobe, I helped him in his business. Dwayne Wade, Grant Hill, all these guys always, they've called me. I helped get them started. And now I got a lot of females calling me now and want me to help them as well. And so that's what I'm here to do. So a lot of times, just passing on the knowledge. I have the blueprint. I just share that with them and try to help them to start their own companies and then also go back to their community and give back. So I said, if I help you, I just need you to help some other people. But yeah, Kobe, whew, man, you're talking about somebody that was special. Oh my goodness. Every night you watched him, he would leave you shaking your head like, how did he do that, right? And that's what made his drive to win, his drive to be the best. And he always told me, he pulled me aside, he said, MJ, I just want to be like you and the other MJ. And so I want to win championships like you guys, and then I want to become businessmen like you and Michael. And I said, wow, guess what? He accomplished all of that. And so thank you for bringing him up, because I think that a lot of times we don't want to forget Kobe. And he was the greatest girl dad. People don't realize out here where we are, a little further in, he used to take his daughters to ice cream place, the movies. I mean, Kobe was seen in Orange County all the time with his daughters. And so give him credit for that. All right. Let another lady, and I take this